all your responses. We're really beginning to touch on something here that I think is very important. And so last week I was ending up, I was talking about normal behavior and why, the state of North Carolina, the majority of people voted that they believed that marriage, the institution of marriage, should be confined and defined as the relationship established between a man and a woman. The institution of marriage should be the relationship established between a man and a woman. And it was overwhelmingly, the idea of same-sex marriage was overwhelmingly opposed by the citizens of North Carolina. But what did the federal government do? The federal government came in and said that that was discrimination. Discrimination. Wow. So now discrimination is poison. We're not supposed to have discernment. Okay? We're not supposed to have discernment. People, we are experiencing a high level of hypocrisy from our elected officials. This is supposed to be a government designed to operate based on majority rule, and government is supposed to handle those things that are most used, most beneficial to the community as a whole. As Barack Obama said in Flint, Michigan, in his speech, he was criticizing big government. He was trying to answer, say the Republicans' idea of big government was your own fire station, your own police department, your own this, your own that. But really, I think he missed on that one. I really do. We all agree that certain functions of government, one of the functions of government is to provide those things that the community at large have to have and use. Okay? Water service. Water service is absolutely necessary for government to be responsible for. Okay? Those in government. Because water service is a service that's absolutely beneficial to the entire community. Now, public safety, same thing. The government has to be involved in this because it is to design for the entire community. It's something that the entire community needs. It's something that the entire community benefits from. Okay? Anything that benefits the whole, we should set up a body of people to represent us, to bring this, to work together to bring this into being. I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. So here we are today. We're talking about House Bill 2. Okay? Now, I heard, I don't know how true it is, that the elected officials of the state of North Carolina are going to, again, put this idea in the hands of the people of North Carolina, the voting public of the state of North Carolina. and that is, should one use the restroom of the gender that was established on their birth certificate? That's what they want to have a vote on. I agree with it. I agree with it. I mean, if you were born a male, then I think that you should use the restroom for men. If you were born a female, I think you should use the restroom for females. Okay? Whatever you are outside of the restroom, I'm not going to discriminate against you. I'm not going to be prejudiced against you. I'm not going to throw stones at you. I'm not going to be bothered with you. I'm not going to do anything against you. That's your dog. I will tell you, don't bring your dog in my house, and don't bring your dog around my children, my grandchildren at this point in time. So that's all I got to say about it. But I'm not going to discriminate against you. I'm not going to talk about you behind your back. I'm not going to mistreat you. I'm going to be very gracious, acting. I'm going to speak to you. If you live in my community, I have them living in my community, I speak to them. I don't talk about them behind their back. But don't ask me to be with your dog now. That's your dog. That's not my dog. Okay. So, now, if you believe, if they have us believing that if, we're going to discriminate against them, that's what they say. This is discrimination. This is discrimination. Okay? You're not treating us equally. And then they have these corporate structures that come out like the NBA and Michael Jordan down there with his basketball team. We don't discriminate against anybody. Just using that one word, discrimination. This is a word that the people of that community use when they're trying to get attention. It's a key word. And they use it when they're trying to get attention, when they're trying to get a special tape made for them. But the reality of the fact is their behavior is not normal behavior. That's the reality. It's not normal behavior. Again, it is not normal behavior because I got the juice now. Let's look at it again. I've already talked about it. Normal behavior is birth. Normal behavior is the fact that we are sperm mixed with ovum. We come from the sperm of a male mixed with the ovum of a female. Normal behavior. We are birthed into this earth by our mothers. Normal behavior. After 8 weeks, our gender is established, and for the next 32 weeks going into the 42 weeks from the time we are birthed, all the necessary processes take place that establish our gender. So by the time we are birthed, normal behavior, we are either male or female. Normal behavior, when we come out of the womb, the first thing we got to do is breathe the air in. We got to breath the air in that's carrying the earth. If we cannot, we are stillborn, regardless of our gender. We're stillborn. Now, we come into the earth. We're in a state of helplessness. Is the mother looking at a male child saying, oh, this baby is going to be a wonderful girl? Is the mother looking at the female child saying, this is going to be a big boy? I don't think so. Because that wouldn't be normal behavior, would it? Okay. That wouldn't be normal behavior. If you heard a woman holding her baby in her arms, and this baby is a boy, and she said, one day, this boy is going to be a big girl, you will look at the mother rather strangely, you would say, hmm, that's not normal. That's not a normal statement there. If you were a nurse in the hospital and you took the baby in for the mother after she just birthed the child, and it was a boy, and the mother said, oh, one day this is going to be a beautiful girl. You as a nurse, you would kind of look at her. Wow, this is not normal behavior. Okay, these people have used the word discrimination, right? Trick word, and confused elected officials. And also have totally forgotten about what is necessary to protect the children. They are so busy trying to answer to special interest groups, they are not making policies or decisions that is protecting the educational system, the children who are the pupils in the educational system, the teachers who help the pupils to grow in the educational system. They're not protecting the children. They're not protecting the children. The children need to be protected. The children need to be protected. So now, if you're going along, if the government is approving of this type of behavior, and they're calling it a different lifestyle. They got all kind of names for it. Genetic transsexual relations, genetic sexual relations, dysphoria gender. They're using all these big words, doctors of psychology, to explain this abnormal behavior. That's exactly what they're doing. Now, we know that Big Brother, federal government, after the citizens of North Carolina vote in favor of House Bill 2, we know that Big Brother is going to come down and say blah, 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 blah. Okay. So now all I'm saying is Food Line, Wells Fargo, all of these other businesses that are supporting the NBA, that are supporting the LBGT community. You mean to tell me that they believe the LGBT community are the majority of customers that they have that support their businesses? Lowe's, Wells Fargo, Food Line. Okay, so you're telling me they believe that the majority of people who support their businesses are out of the LBGT community. The normal people who are normally behave, who are behaving normally, normal behavior. They are not the majority of people in the state of North Carolina. Yet, if they have voted against same-sex marriage, they disagreed with same-sex marriage idea. They wanted the idea of the institution of marriage to remain the gathering of a male and a female, the joining of a male and a female. Big Brother voted that down. Now they're going to vote, and I guarantee you the God-fearing people of the state of North Carolina will vote against that, will vote for that idea of House Bill 2, that you should use the restroom in which your birth certificate establishes you. Whatever your gender was established by your birth certificate, that is the restroom you should use. I mean, okay, now they're going to vote that down? I mean, they're going to support that. I think the people of North Carolina will support that. I think they really will. That's only intelligent. Now, here we have a few people that use the word discrimination. Okay? And like I said, you got preachers out here that would call you a bigot. I remember the lady was opposed to the Boy Scouts when they decided that they were not going to discriminate against transgenders, gays, lesbians, whatever. Okay. She said, I have to remove my sons from the Boy Scouts of America because this is contrary to their oath. Their oath is to God. And so the preacher called her a bigot. But the preacher is a hypocrite. Any preacher that calls a God-fearing person a bigot because they do not accept that lifestyle as normal behavior and they disagree with it, they are hypocrites. There's a fire not only going on in the brains of those who participate in this abnormal behavior, but it's a fire going on in the brains of those who support this behavior, especially those who call themselves preachers of the Word of God. Okay, that God is a spirit. Now, I don't want to see anybody that doesn't want to see me. You know,